Morning. This is Rich from Rich TV Live, and I wanted to speak to you a little bit about this so-called recession that everybody's talking about. So there's a lot of analysts and experts and financial forecasts predicting a recession in America. The word just keeps getting bantered about, and everybody keeps using the word recession, recession, recession. Now, when I think about recession, I think about like the 1920s, 1930s, after the big world wars, and I think about people standing there waiting to get food. In my mind, when I think recession, that's what I think. I think people have no jobs, people have no money, people have no food, and they're standing there waiting for a handout. I don't think, we have a recession in an economy where people are buying their third house and fourth house and fifth house and third car and fourth car and fifth car. Is that really a recession? I don't buy it. I don't see it. Like here in Vancouver, there's no recession. There's no doubt about it. There is no recession here in Vancouver. I don't see it in Canada. There may be a correction in the housing market, but even if there's a correction, I don't think that that's going to be, I think it'll be short-lived, because the reality is people keep buying, people keep spending money, and people keep buying. So I don't really see a recession, but based on what experts are saying, they're projecting a recession for 2020. Now, if there is a recession, how will it affect us? Will it dramatically affect us? The last recession lasted only a few years, and there wasn't much of an effect here in Canada other than a little bit of a slowed housing sector. I don't really remember too much of a huge drop in the stock market, maybe temporarily, and then it all came back up, and then it went even higher. Same thing with the housing market. The housing market went down for a couple of years, and now it's doubled. So when I think of recession, I'm thinking about people waiting in line for foods, and I don't think we'll ever see that again. So this whole idea of recession, I think it's political bantering, in my opinion. Now, it might still happen. I can't control the economy. Everyone's talking about the yield curve, and everyone's talking about the bond markets, and everyone's talking about the stock market, and everybody's talking about the housing market, and everybody's talking about the debt load that the US has, but they've always had that debt load. So, yeah, and the debt load gets worse, but at the end of the day, they're just printing paper. They're just printing paper. They're just going to keep printing more. And whenever the Fed needs more money, they just print more, and then they use that money to boost up the economy. Let's say hello to everybody that's here. Brent says, no recession, it's all politics. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking the same. John Hughes says, howdy, Rich. Hope you're good, brother. Hope you're having a great day, John. I wish you guys all a great weekend. Mark Pepper. Hey, Mark. How you doing, buddy? Dylan Fraser says, good morning, Rich. Good morning, Dylan. Brent Foti says, they just hate Trump. Yeah, I think there's a long list of people that are on that in that boat right now. John Hughes says, recession won't scare our group if we play smart. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, we know the talk. And I'm not afraid to bring up the tough conversations and the tough questions. And I'm not afraid to speak of the topics that people are afraid to talk about. We lived through the last recession in 2007. Now we're in 2019. So I'm pretty sure we'll be able to live through the next recession in 2020 if it does happen. Dylan Fraser says RV sales were down in the USA, apparently. RV sales? John Hughes says, in Toronto, no recession. 2 jobs are there. The market is fine. You are right. Yeah, I don't know where people are seeing signs of a recession, but we're definitely not seeing it in Canada. Not in Vancouver, not in Toronto, not in the major markets, but maybe in the smaller markets. But I know we're definitely not seeing it in the major markets. Elad, Internet Thug TV, Antonio Cortez. Antonio says, good afternoon, folks from the 6. How you doing in Toronto? Evan Diesel says, Rich, in 2 years, It will happen. Democrat create this distortion for the election soon. Don't fall into their game. Yeah, and the question is, how are we going to prepare ourselves for this recession if it does happen? What are we going to do to prepare ourselves? How are we going to prepare ourselves? What are we going to do to protect ourselves? Dylan Fraser says, no one is buying. Everyone is scared to spend the money. Is that a sign of a recession right there? That's your morning wake-up call, everybody. Beep, 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 beep. There we go. Jeez. Dylan Fraser says, it's a start. No one buys toys with no money. It's true. It's true. Or is it just because it's summertime and everybody's just out using their toys? Denlaz says, take it easy, my boy Rich. Like when a recession hits, alcohol boom. Same way it works with cannabis, Rich. Yeah, and that's the thing. If a recession hits and when a recession hits, won't people just be smoking more cannabis? And won't people just be taking more CBDs? Because it's a very relatively cost-effective way for them to deal with their problems. CBDs might be the solution. Cannabis might be a good solution for people when they're going through tough times. So the question, because we are heavily involved in the cannabis sector, is will the cannabis sector be heavily affected if there is a recession? In my opinion, I think the cannabis sector just continues to grow regardless of a recession. So from that perspective, I think we may be in a recession-proof sector. Denla says, Eladi says, load up. Xena is a sleeping giant. Well, you guys know what I think about Xena, and I believe that Xena is a great company, but right now the stock is getting crushed. So I would be careful before loading up at these prices, because based on the way it's going, it looks like it's going to go down further. I mean, I'm not saying this because I want it to happen. Clearly, I'm a shareholder. I don't want the stock to go down. But based on the selling pressure that they're getting, I would wait to see if we can pick it up lower. And pretty soon I'll be lowering my cost and buying more. But why buy it $1 if it goes to 50 cents? I'd rather pick it up at 50 cents. I mean, I just want cheap shares. So I'm in no rush to buy at these prices. I think it goes lower based on the way it's been selling. Michael York says, cannabis rules just like debt. Neither one is going to go away. I agree with you 100%. That's why if you're looking for good long-term investments, can't go wrong with Visa, MasterCard, and American Express. Yvonne says, Rich, buy blessing stock. Like you are saying, buy the best, man. The best is blessed. It's true. Thank you, Mark. Shelby says, good morning, Rich. How you doing, Shelby? Yvonne says, Rich, Xena fall in no man's land under $1. Yes, it's very concerning. I'm not happy about it. I'm not impressed. I am surprised, clearly. I wouldn't have bought at those higher levels if I thought it was going to go this low. But I'm looking around the sector and I see a lot of companies going down, not just Cannabis. I do have a lot of holdings. All of them have been going down. Aurora has been going down. Hexo's been going down. Rivers has been going down. Suniva's taken a big hit. Obviously, CanTrust has taken a big hit. Canopy Growth has taken a big hit. Chiron Life Sciences has lost like 60% of its value. I mean, there's a lot of stocks that have taken a big hit. It's not just Cannabis. So I think this is a sector-wide issue, coupled with the fact that Cannabis is clearing up their float. And unfortunately, when you clean up your float and you have an insider that's dumping shares, or insiders that are dumping shares, you're going to have a lot of selling pressure. And that's what's happening right now at Cannabis. Dylan Fraser says, if the market continues to go down, why wouldn't invest into 52-week lows and recession-proof sector? Could treat it as a safe haven during hard times. Yeah, and I mean, a lot of people did that with crypto when it was down and crypto exploded and people made a fortune. So crypto was down for a long time. Bitcoin went all the way down to 3,000 and then exploded back to 15,000. 15,000. That's a 500% jump. I think we're going to see a huge resurrection in the cannabis sector. I don't think we're going to see these stocks go up 20, 30%. I think we're going to see some stocks go up, 200, 300%. And that's why a lot of them are going down right now. I think that, a year from now, we're going to see some very different pricing, maybe even sooner than that. And 2 years from now, we'll definitely see some very different pricing, because the reality is a lot of these companies will continuously just keep growing their financials. They're just going to keep growing their capacity. They're going to keep acquiring new entities, and they're going to keep getting bigger and better. And as they keep getting bigger and better, they'll be able to justify their market caps. Antonio says, come on, guys, hit that like button. Thank you guys for the 7 likes, but we got 47 people watching. We can do better than that. Recon Legend says, Xena insider selling will only be temporary. Once selling pressure dries up, demand will kick back in and the shorts will be squeezed. I think that's a very good likelihood, Recon. Thank you for that. A dope point of view says, we're already in a recession, but the market won't stop. Certain sectors will suffer, but we will just have to wait and see. Buy the best because the best is blessed. Yeah, and think about recession-proof stocks. MasterCard, Visa, American Express. People are going to get into debt. People are going to use more credit. Visa, MasterCard, American Express will most likely go higher. Mark Pepper says, I am watching Cannabis like a hawk. See, the funny thing is, through all of this, more and more people are starting to watch Cannabis, and more people are starting to recognize that they are undervalued, they are underappreciated, they are underexposed, and they have huge potential. So you're seeing a stock that's starting to become more liquid. You're seeing a stock that's starting to get more investors in a weird way, because people just look at it like tier 1 company, top 5 producer as far as quarterly sales, and trading lower than all of its peers, which is signaling a buying opportunity. And that's why you're seeing a lot of volume and a lot of liquidity in the stock. So hopefully whoever's selling, if it's Ricky Brar or a combination of insiders, hopefully they're out soon and we can just move forward with the company achieving its objectives and achieving its goals and the stock price going in the right direction. Michael York says, I can't wait to see what happens when we get worldwide legalization. Should be epic. I agree with you. And I mean, we're starting to see it little by little. We're seeing it. America's in the verge. Mexico's on the verge. Germany, so many countries are on the verge of legalizing. The UK, country after country is getting involved. Uruguay, we're going to see more and more countries legalize as we get, as we continue to move forward in the sector. Jerry says people are putting the money in safe stocks. Cannabis will be seeing red for a while. I don't know about that. I think the cannabis sector is very cyclical, and every fall they go up. I anticipate they will go up again, but you never know. We'll see. There's a lot of manipulation in the sector, so we'll see. I anticipate things are going to turn around pretty quickly here, but at the end of the day, you never know. Ivan says, Xena is like a hawk. They will take people's money. They'll take people's money like Saniva. Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I still think Saniva long-term is going to be a giant, and I still think that Xena long-term is going to be a giant. The stocks themselves may struggle temporarily, but the companies themselves, I believe, are going to grow, are going to become very profitable, and are going to become big players in this sector. Chris B says, talking about the wheat sector. Yes, we are talking about the wheat sector. Sean Khan says, Tilt is a better buying opportunity than Cannabis with a low float. I don't know about that. Tilt has a lot of their own issues with insider selling. That's the problem with Tilt. So when you look at Tilt and you look at Saniva and you look at Cannabis, those are 3 companies that are all having issues with insider selling. And that's why the stocks have been going down. At some point, the insider selling will hopefully stop, and the stocks will go up based on fundamentals, based on revenues, based on profits. But all 3 of those companies need to become profitable, and hopefully they feel the pressure to become profitable soon based on the fact that their stocks are getting crushed. Michael York says, Bruce Linton is still buying Canopy. I see international plays are great. Yeah, which shows to me that Bruce Linton believes that this is a buying opportunity and that this entire sector is going to turn around. So I'm not surprised that Bruce is buying more Canopy Growth. And I believe that Canopy Growth is at these levels a buy. And I believe that Canopy Growth will one day be at $100. So these prices are a gift for Canopy Growth. This is the lowest they've been in quite a long time. And this is signaling an incredible buying opportunity, in my opinion. Mark Pepper says Tilt has a class action suit against it. Yeah, when you see stocks go down like they have, you have to assume that people are going to start taking legal action, and people are going to feel like, they got hurt, and they're going to want to do something to get their money recouped in full, and that's when you'll see legal action take place. Recon Legend says Xena has all the funding it needs to ramp up to full production, 143,000 kgs. Just have to be patient. Yeah, and unfortunately, it took them quite a while to raise the money, and they took a beating in their stock doing it, because first it was dilutive funding. Now it's a loan at a 14% interest rate plus a 5% finder's fee. So it's at 19%. So the street doesn't like that. So unfortunately, they're taking a hit today so that they can grow tomorrow. And that's what's really hurting the stock. However, it's creating a great buying opportunity for investors that want to get in cheap. Yvonne Diesel says, Rich, do you know if Cam Bately from Aurora start to buy new shares of Aurora? They could be a good sign. They have a way to see that, but I don't know how to see it. Yeah, you can go to CDAR and you can go to the company and see all the insider sells. Ask says, what would you do if you had your complete portfolio in Hexo warrants in a big loss? Do you believe Hexo warrants can re-hit $2? Yeah, I would wait. Right now is not a time to be selling. Right now is a time to be accumulating and buying. If you are down on something in the cannabis sector, I would wait for this cannabis sector to resurrect, because as quickly as it's gone down and everything's at 52-week lows, it can very quickly turn right back around, and everything can get back to 52-week highs, at which point in time your accounts would look very different. AJ the Splinter asks, thoughts on Kush? I own some and don't see it going much lower. Yeah, Kush is also another one of those companies that's been attacked by short sellers. It's been getting lawsuits. I like them a lot. I think they have huge potential, great revenue, one of the top revenue generating companies in the cannabis sector in America. A picks and shovels play, because they're not in the cannabis growing business. They're in the bottling side of the business. I really like it. I think they're unique, and I think they're going to be huge. So I'm a big fan of Kush bottles at these levels. Shan Khan says, Rich, would you put 25K in Zenabis or Canopy or Afria? Oh, that's a tough question. Well, I'd put 25 grand in all three. But if I had to choose one right now, it would be Afria, because they're profitable. Jason Garza says, pot is grown, not made. Must be patient, guys. It's coming. It's true. Just like pot is grown, the stocks will grow. I absolutely agree with you, Jason. Gibbsy 007 says, Afria is looking bullish these days. Yeah, I think Afria has been stemming the tide okay compared to some of its peers, most likely due to the revenue generating and profitable, which is kind of a changing of the guard. We're starting to see that the companies that are profitable are the ones that we need to position ourselves in, and everybody else that isn't profitable is highly risky at this point, which is 95% of the companies, because I think there's maybe 10 companies that are profitable in this entire sector, and we're talking about 400 companies. So if there's 400 companies and there's 10 that's profitable, what is that, 2%? So it's a very small percentage. Five Finger Limited says, I have 590 shares of CGC, buy more next week. This is a long investment. And I think it's a smart investment. You can't really go wrong with CGC. A lot of people are saying their weed is trash. A lot of people are saying they made a mistake firing Bruce Linton. At the end of the day, I believe the canopy is going to be fine. If their weed isn't that good right now, then it'll improve. They've got more than enough money to hire some good chemists that can help them create quality product, and I'm sure they'll overcome whatever issues and problems they're having, and they'll get better and bigger. And I foresee Canopy being a major player in edibles, major player in CBDs, and a major player in cannabis on a global scale. How you doing, Gus? Michael York says, what do you think of Dixie Brands and their deal with Arizona? I love it. Dixie's been on fire. Love the deal with Arizona. I think that they're one to watch for sure. Ask says, thanks for your time to reply to East's message. I appreciate it. Hey, my pleasure, man. If you're going to take the time to put out a message, I'm going to take the time to read it. That's what this entire community is all about. I learn just as much from you guys as you guys do from me and vice versa. And that's what makes our community so powerful. Internet Thug TV says, ACB reporting Tuesday the 27th. See this in my calendar. Of August or September? Robert says, I'm hoping Canopy Growth will be around 2023 so I can average down. That would be an amazing price for Canopy Growth. Shan Khan says, are you buying Imagination Park Technologies Inc. stock? I'm not. Definitely looking at them, but I need to learn more, and I'd like to speak to the company before I buy a 3-cent stock just to try to get a better idea of what they're doing. Five Finger Limited says, you're telling me the king of weed, Linton, has bad weed? I don't think so. I've never tried their weed, but I've heard through the grapevine that their weed is not the greatest. But like I said, I've never tried it, so I can't really tell you. But from what I've heard, it's not the greatest. Internet Thug TV is saying that he is hearing that Aurora is reporting Tuesday, August 27th. That's possible. A lot of these companies are reporting their financials in advance. So hopefully they do, and they report some huge numbers. I believe the quarterly sales were estimated to be like 107 million, which will be a very big number. And I know they were also talking about getting to profitability. So hopefully they will be profitable, and that could be the spark that sparks this entire sector and sparks the resurrection. So in my opinion, I don't see a recession. I know a lot of people are calling for it. I'm not saying we won't see it. I'm not saying it's not a possibility. I think anything is possible. I think on a global scale, we've already been in a recession for quite some time. I know Europe has seen a recession for quite some time, but I don't know if we'll see it in Canada. The Canadian banks are strong. The Canadian economy is strong. The Canadian housing sector is strong. Canadian jobs are strong. Yeah, there may be a little bit of a slowdown in growth. There may be a little bit of a correction, but I don't personally see a recession coming. And if it does happen, especially if it happens in the States due to the trade war and tariffs and the issues with China, I think it might create an amazing buying opportunity in the stock market.
How can we go into a recession?
Yeah, I don't see the recession coming.
Just keep things coming in. How would we go into a recession?
Yeah, I don't see it coming. But a lot of people are calling for a recession. So when they call for it and they create that much fear, anything is possible. Shan Khan says, one last question, Rich, before I go to work. Is ZMA still a buy or wait for a dip? That's a great question. I'm going to have ZMA on my show on Monday. I would like to speak to him and figure out where they go from here, because they've obviously been a huge success since we brought them at 2.5 cents. Right now, they're around 11 cents. So I wouldn't buy it at 11 cents personally. Every time it dips to around 7, it seems like 7's the bottom, and then it bounces back. So if I was buying ZMA right now, I'd probably put in a bid around 7 cents. Seems like that's the bottom. And maybe you get in at 7, and it goes back up to 11, 12, 13, and beyond. I think that's kind of how you play it. But I wouldn't be personally buying at 11 cents because it's kind of high, and I don't like to chase the green. But, you know, when it got to 7 cents, I didn't necessarily want to buy it because I thought it might go lower, and it didn't. So Just based on the way it's been trading, I think that 7 cents is kind of like the bottom, but it's a penny stock and things can change very quickly. Super 020469 says lots of speculators. Yes, lots. Michael York says acreage is a great deal as well. What do you think of TGOD? I think acreage is really good because there is obviously the chance that Canopy is going to acquire acreage once legalization happens in America. So there's an opportunity to gain some shares in Canopy growth if you purchase acreage. I like that. TGOD, I like TGOD because they are organic and they are trying to grow organic cannabis, building a huge facility. However, they are not really generating a lot of revenue right now. And due to the fact and the lack of the revenue and lack of product, I just don't like it right now. But I do like them long term. Five Finger Limited says there is no recession in the USA. There are tower cranes in every city, help wanted signs everywhere. And this is what I see here in Canada. This is why I don't understand where talks of a recession comes from. In my opinion, it is only being put out there for public consumption to create fear. Super 020469 says, at this time, I would only buy in cannabis companies that have FDA approvals and use for medicine. So in that case, GW Pharma, GWPH, would be a great company for you to look into. And Zynarba Pharmaceuticals, ZYNE, would be another great company for you to look into. AJ DeSplinter says Cresco Labs Origin House should be close to their merger. Thoughts? I love the merger. I love both companies. I just put Cresco Labs in one of my top stocks for September 2019. A lot of it is because of the deal with Canna Royalty. I like the idea of buying Canna Royalty at a discount right now and then getting shares in Cresco Labs. So yeah, I like the company. I think they have a lot of potential. I think the key right now is to try to get into all these great companies at the lowest possible price. So right now we are finding 52-week lows. This is a great time to go shopping for cannabis stocks because a lot of them are finding their low lows. And if you can position yourself at these levels, you're going to go for a hell of a ride. So in my opinion, I don't see a recession. I'd love to know what you guys think. If you guys see a recession, comment down below, smash the like button, and let me know that you see a recession. If you see a recession, comment down below and type in recession. If you don't see a recession, comment down below and type no recession. I would love to know what you think. I don't personally think we see a recession, but I know a lot of people are saying there will be one, and I'm not an expert, so maybe there will be one. But if there is a recession, in my opinion, it's going to be short-lived. It will not last forever, and we will overcome it. Okay, this is Rich from Rich TV Live. Thank you for watching. Have a great weekend. If there's anything you want me to talk about, any news that's trending, anything that I got to discuss, please let me know. Have a great weekend. Enjoy the last week of summer. Enjoy the last week of August. September is around the corner. Labor Day long weekend's coming. I'm booking my vacation. I'm getting ready to go somewhere in the fall when it's raining or in the winter. I'm already thinking vacation time. And make sure you invest in the best because the best is blessed. And be careful when you invest. When you invest, always consult a financial advisor before you invest in anything that we talk about here on Rich TV Live. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just like you guys. I'm an investor trying to win, trying to buy low, trying to sell high. And hopefully as a community, we will all come out on top. I hope there is no recession. And if there is a recession, I'll still be here. It'll create a buying opportunity. And hopefully we can buy the dip and take advantage of it so that when it does bounce back up, we can make a killing. Okay, guys, have a great weekend. This is Rich from Rich TV Live, and I'm out. Peace. No recession. And Trump, could you just calm it down with the tweets, man? And these trade wars and these tariffs, this tariff battle? Just calm it down with the tweets, man. Jeez.